Hey, Aquinas. Hey, Elizabeth. Hey, Tara. We are on here as Care Society co founders to talk about self directed learning, a little bit about how we, as free adults, make decisions about what to do with our days, how we want to serve people, how we want to organize our time, create value, and also uh, building a vision and modeling a culture of what teens in particular can be doing on our platform to be self-directed learners. If students that we've worked with who've come from traditional systems are very used to being told what to do. These are the rules. This is the curriculum. These are the standards. Or parents have things that, okay, here's what we're going to do. Some of these things are great, and in the Care Society, we really aim for young people to be empowered to pursue their own goals, to learn more about themselves, to develop their own interests, strengths, and passions, to also live and learn with freedom and care. I mean, broadly speaking, be curious, collaborate with people, show compassion, have a hunger for learning and for helping people, discovering things about the world, seeking truth. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what it might mean to be self-directed and to live and learn with freedom and care. Um, Me personally, I for the past 3 years, I have been broadly free, even as when I was an instructional coach in the public school system. I when I was not having a structured schedule of this is exactly what you teach and when, it opened my eyes more to the idea of like having more ownership and choice of my daily decisions and how I wanted to navigate the world. And now that I'm not in the public school system anymore, um, I find myself like waking up, just like looking for ways to serve. And this to me, I don't know if I think it's because of how I was raised, but like when I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking about my day, but I'm also thinking about what I've chosen to put in my life. For example, we've all chosen to engage in this giant creative project called the Care Society. And like for me, I think that this is a way that we can add value to the world that really meets a lot of people's needs and solves a huge problem. We're here in part to build community, but solving a problem in education and life to where we're providing an online and in-person global set of environments so that people can reimagine education. But even as us adults, us being a part of that, it's almost like we're not like improving school. We're sort of establishing a way to live like fundamentally together. And it gives me a lot of joy to be around people who are curious about the world, who want to be very flexible, and pivoting, learning a new platform with mighty networks, with creating courses that have never been created before. We have courses for students to be in, workshops, learning pods, clubs, and we built all of that like from nothing, but us choosing to come together and try to tackle this giant problem. And to me, like that's it's so it gives me such energy and fulfillment and meaning that I just wake up and I'm like, oh, how can I keep this train going and continue to serve? Um, but also, I really like to kind of like scratch my academic and scholarly itch too. Like, I want to be taking your courses. I want to be keeping up with current events. I want to be learning more about history and philosophy and religion as I continue to visit more churches and places of worship and meeting new people. Like to me, like it's a very fluid and dynamic, but rigorous way to live and learn. So I'm wondering, from the three of you, you're free adults. what kind of goes through your mind, or how do you exercise your freedom? Like, do you have like a conscious set of something in your mind of how to make decisions, or what to do with your day, or what problems you tackle, or just even how you organize your day, how you live, what you stand for? Talk to me about self-directed learning.
Well, I'll go first, since nobody else wants to. I think that, like, I feel like that is something that I struggle with if I'm really kind of in a place where I don't have a lot of direction or structure or support. Like, for me, that's gonna happen a lot more in community, in structure, if I have a group of people to do this with, if I have sort of something I'm focusing on, something I'm working towards. Um, because, it's one thing to just say self-directed in the sense that, like, we have freedom and we can do whatever we want. And that can actually, in some ways, I think, be a constraint for some people, especially for me, if I'm just kind of thinking about, oh, what do I want to do for myself that's going to gratify myself, that's going to be fun, that's going to give me some dopamine or whatever it is. And so for me, I feel a lot more productive when I have some structure, when I have, a meeting to get to. So I got to get up in the morning, and then I've, got some time to work, and I've got people that I'm working with so I can work on projects that I know are going to help them, that are going to fit in with what other people are doing. So for me, even though I am doing things that I want to do, and many projects that we're working on are things that perhaps have come from my inspiration, it works a lot better for me. And I feel more fulfilled in doing what I'm doing when I'm working with a group and in community.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And the in our collaborative model, so we have trusting relationships as kind of like the beginning of how we collaborate effectively. But then you need support. You need a support system, and structure and accountability are huge parts of it. And I've found that folks who don't have structure, they can be like kind of lost, almost like in a fog, or unsure of what to do. And then you're finding that like the system isn't really flowing. So I think that's a powerful addition. Thanks, Elizabeth.
I'll go next. A little bit starting out with, to add on to some of what Elizabeth just said there, as far as when you're doing self-directed learning in a community, because there are others involved, it kind of helps direct yourself to really be thinking about, like, am I providing broad value? Like, of course you can do things on your own. Like, I do a lot of stuff on my own, and I get a lot of enjoyment and fulfillment, satisfaction, and usually it's coming from like an understanding of something, because a lot of my interests are a little more intellectual. But then when you come into a group and you have those kind of interests, and it's like, I would love to have other people also interested in these subjects with me. And sometimes that might entail like sharing information, knowledge with them, and eventually maybe even a course, which I will be offering and do offer courses on Mighty Networks with Care Education. But to get that feedback, to get maybe a potential of the light bulb, popping up in their own mind about if we're having a discussion, or if I'm leading more of a lecture type class, and conveying that knowledge. It just somehow it feels like, because it involves these other people, and I have to in some ways like rack my brain to make sure, like, this is that interesting, this is that compelling outside of my own orbit. Somehow it just makes a lot of what I'll be doing feel more valuable, because someone else is also finding a value in it.
So it sounds like you're saying that like helping people is like a big like motivator or driver, almost like what naturally, or something you almost need in order to like be fulfilled and doing this thing called life well.
I would almost view it as like it amplifies. And I mean, I'm not advocating for anyone to be a hermit somewhere, but like you can get a lot of personal enjoyment just doing your own thing. But like if you're doing it in a community that shares your values, it rockets it. The best word I can come up with is it amplifies. It's more of that feeling. And like, wouldn't you want to have like more love than just some love, or more broader caring kind of being in that orbit? You know, it feels good, and it reminds you like you are definitely creating some value because people are resonating with what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, we in the care learning framework, we're broadly in support of what's called experiential learning, or learning by doing real things in the real world with real people. And there are these three main acts that I find myself and other people who are doing experiential learning. We're creating things, so like creative projects, products, services, experiences. We're helping people, and we're researching and discovering. What I think is important is that like helping people includes yourself too. Like you were saying, you know, being a hermit, but you know, having some alone time, especially if that's how you recharge, relaxing, being rejuvenated. You know, for me, like me being with my piano or my guitar, like those are things that I need. And so helping people, and like you matter too, and that self-care is just as important as caring about others and learning, and that in and of itself, I think is a big part of living a healthy life. Do you agree with that, Aquinas?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Tara, what do you do, or what does self-directed learning look like or mean to you?
Well, as I've shared on my team recently, I like to play a lot of creative video games in my downtime. But actually, I think it was last weekend, that so when I was in college about 8 years ago, they gave me, I was taking a very basic English class that was just like entry level. And they wanted you to write a story, but they gave you a bit of a constraint for that. So they gave you a sheet of paper with photos of different locations on it. And within those constraints, I created a story. And that started in my head an idea for a video game. And that just built and built in my head over until now, basically. Like, I've got so many documents that I've written on my own. Last night, I was getting a bit bored of doing the video games on my own. And I was just thinking, like, with the mighty network stuff that I've been doing with you guys and all the AI stuff, what if I use that to basically feed AI my stories and ask it, like, how could I create it into a video game that people would enjoy and would help them as well? What could the overall moral be that would also help people? And because it was coming from all my stories in the first place, because I've written over 50 of them by now.
Wow.
But I've like never had the confidence or motivation to just like go and write a book or create a video game all by myself. So I've never done anything with that idea. But now everything that we've been doing has kind of got me thinking, like, wait, I could actually do this. And I was thinking as well, like, I can apply bits of the CARE framework into it as well. So
Wow.
that was kind of my creative arc over the weekend. And it's like, it came from the fact that we've all been collaborating so much in the first place.
Wow.
And now it's like, I've had an extra light bulb moment on top of that.
Well, that's kind of the synergy concept, right? Like it's not just you're writing, but you're thinking about the people you're with, and that's kind of like multiplying and almost like building all of those things in your life up, which I think is really cool. And Tara, you know, there's a lot more that you do with your freedom, like during the day. Like you're helping our founding group, and with our social media, with our websites, with I mean you were helping with course design materials. Like you have several things you're doing in your life, some for enjoyment, some out of like your own personally motivated creativity, but you're also directly contributing your services and helping people that is a more like traditional understanding of creating value. Can you share a little bit about some of the ways that you contribute to the group?
Well, I help manage the Mighty network as a whole, but also I come up with things kind of as we go along. That's like, I see some like people struggling to figure out how to make a course, so that makes me think, oh well, what if I wrote a template that everyone can use, so everyone can kind of follow that easily, and it kind of helps all of us as a group more, because it just organizes everything in one place. The same thing with the graphics, to be honest. Like, if I do it, then we've just got a more organized thing, and it makes Elizabeth's job easier as she's writing everything. So yeah,
So
I
you
kind of just come up with stuff.
in our model that falls under, so when we have those 5 key concepts of collaborative learning: trust, support, ownership, synergy, and celebration, that's that ownership concept where you're taking initiative. And like what's cool is that you're being motivated by what is the impact going to be, or what problem am I solving, and how is that going to serve other people and help everybody thrive. And out of your compassion, out of your desire for us to have a thriving collaborative environment, you're just like stepping up and doing it even though nobody asked you to. Thank you for that, Tara. What
Jimmy, one thing I wanted to add to what Tara was saying, that's really nice about our organization, whether we're here on a live restream or we're within the Mighty Networks platform, is the caring way you can get feedback on, any project that you're working on, even as we do stuff as the leadership of the organization, so to speak, is like, because the goodwill's there, the shared values there, and you're asking for feedback, all the way up to potentially like critique of something that you're working on, like it's delivered in a very helpful and a kind way. But with I would assume the person who's giving the feedback, like, really take this under consideration. But there's no like forcing or it just feels very caring. It's a very caring environment as people give feedback all the way up to critique, and that's not something that's found. It's just not very common in organizations.
I agree. Elizabeth, I know you have to be heading out. So is there anything you want to mention about feedback, or something else about what Tara was saying, or anything you'd like to share before you leave?
Well, yeah, I just think that, because I did experience a lot of this with my kids where we did self-directed learning, but in a little bit more of a isolated environment of just our family, and we didn't necessarily find very many people very often to collaborate with. And that I think is just something that I really want for people in this community, because I found that that sort of like lack of community, lack of collaboration really made a difference in being able to take projects really to the next level, to do something more interesting, more exciting, to do maybe to start something, but to get that feedback or that critique or those ideas from other people, and just having a community of people who actually even care what you're doing.
Mm.
Because that's what I found a lot with our family, like with my kids, that it wasn't very motivating to do anything very interested if you really didn't have anybody to see or to care or to do it for. Um, and I think that that's the biggest thing that I want to happen in our community, is for people to, yeah, find people to share things with, find people to care about what they're doing, find people to motivate them. I think will be very helpful for a lot of people in the world, whether, and this could be for people who's homeschooling or people who just kind of want to do real world things outside of whatever education they are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And one great example of what you're talking about is with our Nova Care Pod, which Rebecca Faree is leading, and her daughter, Kala, just recently finished this huge creative project. She made this K-pop Demon Hunters party that we hosted last month, and not only was it a great event, but everyone was really excited for it. Every single student in the pod attended the event, which was a very caring act. People, made time for it, was helping Coach Kala each step of the way. But also, another one of our students did her own creative project to learn how to make kimbap from scratch, a Korean dish, and she made an entire article and set of videos and pictures of all about how to make the kimbap and her process. So she was working on her communication skills, her digital technology skills, certainly a practical skill of actually making the food. It was absolutely delicious. It might as well have been professionally made. And it was all that synergy concept of building off of someone else's creative project, and like serving Kala's project through another project. And then we were able to reflect on that beautiful experience of how multiple projects came together to multiply each other's effects. It was just absolutely heartwarming. And then we're sharing the results of these projects in our weekly Friday demo days, where we're coming on in a hybrid format, and we in Google Meets virtually, we're presenting these wonderful projects and celebrating each other. We're giving each other a round of applause. Parents are attending the demo days. We've even had different partners attending the demo days to be celebrating these amazing feats of learning. It warms my heart, and to know that these ideas are all coming from the students out of their own freedom, and them choose to engage in these creative projects. It's so thrilling. I love it so much. But if you have to step out, Elizabeth, we can keep the convo going,
Yeah,
because I want to
I
chat a
was
little
gonna
bit about.
say, yeah, I gotta run, but I will see you guys all on Wednesday. So, bye.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Yeah. So on in the Care Society, on our Mighty Networks platform, which is our online global network app, where we actually have spaces for courses for our main clubs, like the Leaders in Action Club, like our Big Ideas Club. Like our History and Culture Club, where we as co-founders are starting the leadership of these clubs to be having different events, to be sharing articles and chats and having discussions around those kind of topics. But eventually, that these clubs will largely be run and led by students. So if there's in big ideas, if someone wants to host a deep philosophical discussion event, a team can actually create their own events, and then people can join. They can publicize these things. They can write projects. If students want to create their own clubs, their own groups, their own events, they're welcome to do all of that as well. So someone's like, I really want to create a Minecraft server, and have there be a space all about Minecraft. And anyone who wants to play, we can join up. We'll have a weekly schedule, and we'll get together and do that. We support that. If students want to, if they're really involved in STEM, if they really like technology, if they like robotics, if they like AI, artificial intelligence, we not only have like a maker STEM space club for that, but that we encourage people to be creating projects and sharing them, to be creating clubs around them, to be sharing what they're interested in learning about, so that we as educators can be designing courses around their interests, even to the point where students and parents can be helping each other designing courses, with even getting to the point where as folks become care educator certified, that they can even be in a teaching capacity where they're maybe leading a learning pod, or they're maybe designing some of their own courses down the line. So if you're a parent who's interested in getting into teaching, we can support you with that. And for me, like, this is a much greater vision for what education can become, especially globally, where we do have an online environment, but also, like with our Nova Care Pod, which is meeting in person, we envision cohorts in person being established around the world. Even like the three of us are all in geographically very different locations. We have Georgia, we've got Virginia, we've got Iowa. Tara, you and Jed are in the UK. We have Christian, who's in Ecuador. We have a Heather, who's in Berlin right now. And that folks can be reimagining education from the ground up, and realizing that what it means to learn doesn't mean, oh, well, only the people around you just meet up, but that you can be integrated into a wonderful, greater, caring and loving community, so that we can see what the future holds. And I wonder, Tara and Aquinas, like, what else you envision students and family members and educators, what do you envision us doing on the platform that's going to make this caring culture become like really magical?
I think it's going to be a big portion of that is going to be the communication, the camaraderie that can be built, through those different either courses or clubs. Just really getting to know each other, find out each other's interests. Maybe there's some shared passions, and obviously that could lead to like project collaboration, but it could just also lead to like friendships. And depending on the ages, and not excluding the younger ones by any means, it could be work or business potential collaborations between the participants. So I think the big draw of that kind of caring feeling is going to be interacting with the community, not just in the more formal or scheduled events, but because it's a platform that allows direct communication, it can really be a place to build healthy relationships, like deep friendships.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Tara?
Well, just adding on to what Elizabeth said as well, and what Aquinas just said. I relate with what Elizabeth said, because my homeschooling was very similar in that I didn't really find anyone who I could connect with. There wasn't some greater network platform to collaborate with or talk to or make friends with even. So my motivation for doing all of what we're doing right now is to basically provide for other people what I don't have, what I didn't have. And I'm also especially excited for that to develop on the network, I guess. Just that sense of a community where everyone cares about what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
So it kind of encourages other people to create stuff in that way, because they're like, well, people actually do care about each other here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another thing to add to that, as all of us, any of us do any kind of projects, when we're choosing whatever project is, we're dedicating that time to do that. So that obviously means that subject topic is very important to us. And so as you release courses or create events around certain subjects or topics, like, you're sharing you, and you're sharing you about that thing that matters so much. So if someone gravitates to that thing, in many ways, they're also gravitating to you because you have expressed that thing, whether it's with some of my mysteries and conundrums or my history stuff or different things that y'all have shared on the platform before. That shows like they created it and they chose to create that thing of all the things they could create. It means something. So if you, as a participant on the network, you're going to that event or the chat or that project and genuinely interested, like, there is a chance could be more connection between you all. And again, going back to like, what is it? That's how you really feel seen. Like, ours is a community that can really make it possible for participants to be seen and understood on, deeper levels than most interactions that are going on in society so far. At least it seems like.
Yeah. Well, and what I keep finding like so powerful, and this is something that you can't really do if you just have like an assignment that's given to you. Like if any of us or any of our students creates and presents a project, I'm just like thinking like, wow, you did all of this and you just personally wanted to do it, and seeing seeing what folks are genuinely motivated by out of their own free will. I find it's so like I'm so much more drawn to it because like no one forced or assigned, that K-pop Demon Hunter party event, or no one forced Jay has did this wonderful project about the history and trends for cremation, and created this math graph and all these pictures. It was for teens, and it's just like, wow, like out of all of the things that someone could be doing and learning about in the world, it's about cremate, which I also ended up having such a personal connection with because my father had just passed away. And so like that connection, I was able to share that with Jay, and that built a connection. But that each of these projects as well, we remember them because they are so they're so meaningful and like almost like emotional in a sense, because you put yourself into it, and then we all celebrate, we all like deeply engage with the project and the demo, and even the process of helping develop the idea, giving feedback all throughout. And so then like months or even years later, you might have an idea and it's like, oh, remember when you did this project about XYZ? Like, that is just that web effect, which goes back to the synergy concept, is also so powerful, because in like a traditional school system or in a homeschooling environment where you don't have that network, you don't really have any like other people's work that people really emotionally latch onto and sort of build off of, and even make that connection with. But this style of learning and doing it in community, I find just like it like explodes the possibility for even like how quickly but also how deeply we can learn, which is also it just kind of becomes a way of living in some sense. um I wonder too, how do we envision parents being involved with students acting as self-directed learners? Maybe Aquinas, we can start with you. Like what does parent support, or even like parent like direct learning with us, also writing projects, or creating experiences? What do you think parents can be doing in the Care Society?
So I'll start with the latter, what you said. Obviously, they can join on our Mighty Networks on behalf of their teen. We do have a space for young adults, I believe, in the latter teens, kind of more college age, but particularly when it comes to parents of our prospective student members, student course members, student club members, and so forth. One, they can obviously be a part of those different programs, particularly when we have some events, when we offer some courses. There is that possibility for them. But then looking at them in the role of a parent whose child is interacting with us on our platform, I mean, right off the bat, like ideally broadly supportive, they have already recognized that this is a valuable thing for their child to be doing. So supportive of their child, whether that might be resources, it might be time, it might be driving them somewhere, depending on what kind of project that they're working on. And then in the course of the child, child or teen participating in the network, just, asking them about what's going on, being genuinely curious about their life and what they're doing. That's an aspect of being supportive. And I mean, just loving that their child is learning, and like really showing that appreciation. And to be frank, depending on what some of our students have worked on in the past, like you could be awed or inspired, like, kind of sharing those emotions with them. Obviously, that can help develop a deeper bond between a parent and a child when a child or teen like really knows that my parents are really interested. They really care. They want to know. They want to be there when I'm doing my project and it's demo day. Just broadly supportive, caring, and loving towards them. And of course, like I said at the beginning, that there also will be programs for them within the networking community.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think just for the sake of time, because I actually am going to be meeting with our website designer. I want to also end with, we also, we believe in like getting exposed to and engaging in what we call collaborative, rigorous learning. So, we encourage all of our students to get curious about things that they aren't already knowledgeable about, and that's a lot of times engaging with other people's projects gets some of that exposure. But then we invite self-directed learners to, like, maybe if something kind of sparks their, piques their interest, then they go like do a little bit of research and maybe spend a little bit of time learning about something new that wasn't already an interest, strength, or passion. And that as well, I encourage folks who are on our platform to, as they see events or clubs or courses that they don't have a lot of background knowledge in, try to attend something. Go attend something new. Even read a project that you're like, oh, I've never heard of this particular historical event or this animal or something before. Read it, give a comment on it, and if you see something that that's related, that does pique your interest, yeah, go spend a little bit of time and develop a new skill, develop some new knowledge and understanding. And I think that this way of living and learning is going to be a big part of broadly the future of education. We know that with our technology, with the needs of the future, where the job market and the economy is going, we know that creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, compassion, caring, a lot of these concepts that we're talking about right now. This is how humans will be able to add value to the world and be flexible and good enough learners to be evolving with our rapidly evolving world, and to have to continue to have financial independence as well. So I want to thank you, Aquinas. Thank you, Tara, for being here, chatting about self-directed learning and the Care Society. Anyone who's watching this video, come find us, check us out, come to a meet and greet, fill out our interest forms. Then we have an orientation process to learn all about what we're about, and then we invite you onto our Care Society platform. So have a good rest of your day, you two. Appreciate you.
Yeah, you too. Have a good one.